Hey guys, it's Sarah, and that's a bee. There's bees. There's lots of bees up here. I'm on top of Mount Lemmon in Tucson, Arizona with the 2018 Acura MDX Sport Hybrid with Advance. It's a mouthful. Starting out with the exterior styling, my first favorite part about the Acura MDX are these dual eye headlights. They're so popular, in fact, you see these headlights retrofitted into a lot of other cars. Down below the headlights is some more LEDs for the fog, and I like how they just kind of flow with the dual eye headlights. But the one thing I definitely have to say is it kind of looks like a spider with all these individual LEDs. Maybe? I don't know. I just think it kind of looks like a spider. There's no mistaking the fact that this is an Acura with that massive Acura logo. That thing is so huge. Below the diamond pentagon grille, you can see there's a camera right here. There's so many cameras on this car, and I'll go over that in a little bit. For 2018, Acura added 2 new red colors for the MDX, and this right here is the San Marino red, which it has the optional black 20-inch wheels. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the shape and style of the wheel itself, but I do think the black wheels accent the San Marino red rather well. Moving down the side of the MDX, Acura definitely lets you know it's a hybrid with the stereotypical blue writing and blue accented emblem saying hybrid on the car. I thought that was really weird that a lot of manufacturers kind of associate blue with being a hybrid. There is a fair amount of chrome on the MDX with the roof rails, the window trim, the door handles, and down here below on the side skirt, as well as the grille in the back of the car. I'm not really a huge fan of chrome accents on modern vehicles, but it kind of fits the car and breaks it up. I think it would have been nice if they could have did it in like a satin chrome, but that's just me. Moving around to the back of the MDX, I think the back end styling is a little bit bland, and the one thing I'm definitely not a fan of is these fake exhaust tip finishers. You can see the exhaust on the inside here, and this outer chrome piece is not actually the tip. I'm never a fan of when manufacturers do that, but all in all, it's not a bad looking SUV from the rear. I just think that back end is kind of basic looking. Thank you, Acura, for adding a hood strut. Under the hood is a 3-liter port injection V6 that puts out 257 horsepower and 218 pound-feet of torque. But being that this is a hybrid, the combined power between the hybrid drivetrain and the gas V6 is 321 horsepower and 289 pound-feet of torque. Now for the interior, one of my favorite parts about this MDX is the fact that it is equipped with the dual rows of captain's chairs. So it's like you can have shotgun in the back seat, sunshade, and shotgun in the front seat. There's 4 shotguns. Well, 3 shotguns because the driver's driver. There's so many shotguns in here. I'm getting a little carried away with the shotguns. Anyway, I just love that, the 2 captain's chairs back there. So I'm gonna check out the legroom in the back row and then the back row. I'm sitting in the front seat, I'm 5'11", and I have it adjusted to where I would need to be positioned to drive comfortably. So keep that in mind when I go to the other rows. So here goes. Oh yeah. Oh, plenty of room. So I'm now in the second row of shotguns. It's adjustable. I can slide it backwards or forwards to give the people behind me leg room, and I have plenty of leg room. There is probably about an inch or 2 in front of my knees right now, and tons of headroom. Let me adjust my seat back. So now I'm gonna go to the back row and see how it is back there. Haha. All right, how do I open this? Oh, okay. Just push a button. The very back row, my knees are pressed into the back of the seat. It's still okay for maybe like a 5-minute drive. My head's hitting the ceiling, my knees are in my chest. But I have USB ports back here. There's 2 more. And there's a little cup holder for a small cup. Yeah, it's not very comfortable back here. But for kids, I think it would be great for kids, unless you have a giant kid. Push this. Oh. That seat's kind of violent when you push the button. Okay. The second row of back seats are good. The captain's chairs, love them. Really comfortable back there. I would definitely do a cross-country road trip in the back row of this. The very back row is for children only. Flat out kids or people that are like maybe 5'5" or 5'6" and under. It was not comfortable at all. I'd like to try to get someone that's like 6'7" back there. That would be pretty funny. From the driver's perspective, the layout of the dash and all the controls is nice. There's not an overwhelming amount of buttons in here, which is something I really like. Despite this being a very tech-savvy vehicle, they make it easy as far as buttons goes. Your layout for your climate controls is simple. You have warm or cold, and then your fan on or off, auto, your front defrost, your rear defrost. So your lower screen focuses more on the entertainment and your HVAC controls. So you have your seat right here. You can turn on your seat heating and cooling. And then, oh, there it goes. Got the seat AC on. I'll turn that off though so you can hear me talk. And then also when you push these buttons down here, they also control the stuff up on the screen. So you can control where you want your air to go. So it's kind of nice how it's broken up down here. You just know that this is for music and your HVAC. And then you also have a dial for your volume, which is nice. And then the hazard button. And if you still use CDs, there is an eject button. Really simple button wise. Down here you have for your cameras, which is really impressive. This thing has a bird's eye view and cameras all the way around. You also have your nav, phone, info, which is a menu on its own, and there is just all kinds of settings in here that you have to learn. But what I was watching was the power distribution monitor, and that's that over there. It's really interesting to me. I don't know, I just like tech stuff. And over here is your navigation, which for some reason it's not even showing the road that I'm on. I am up on top of Mount Lemmon in Tucson, Arizona right now. And smartphone, which I didn't bring a cable to connect my smartphone, but this does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Now, one of the advantages of the interior is also a disadvantage. This thing is very tech heavy, which makes it a little bit intimidating to get used to and to learn. And I've had this vehicle now a week and I'm still learning things here in the interior. So I feel if you bought this car, it would take you a while to get to learn all the features, and especially it would take a while to get used to like developing a muscle memory for where everything is in the car. As far as the center console goes, I like this kind of, I don't know, it looks like a boat deck, if that's such a thing. You slide it back, and then down in here you have your two USB ports, which I like how they have the amperage rating on here to let you know like how fast the rate of charge will be for your electronic devices. And then right over here is where you connect your smartphone. Now this is the one thing I do not like about the MDX is your shift controls. Your park is up here, reverse, neutral, drive, as well as sport, and the dynamic mode. It's just very unnatural feeling to me, and like I found myself a couple of times going to put it in park or drive, and I look down and I'm like, where is the controls? And you have to think about it. It's just, I think it's something you would have to get used to, but it's really odd. I'm not really a huge fan of it. But now it's time for the best part, the drive. So I'm gonna give you the good, the bad, and the weird overall about my driving impression of the 2018 Acura MDX Sport Hybrid with Advance. So much in that title. We're gonna start out with the good. The first good thing about the MDX, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is the fact that this one is a hybrid. The Sport Hybrid model, I never thought I'd really enjoy a hybrid before, but I am definitely enjoying driving this. Now, the way this is set up is it has triple electric motors. Your front electric motor is 47 horsepower and 109 pound-feet of torque. But the thing is where that torque comes in. That torque comes in as early as 500 RPM and stays at peak until 2000 RPM. Then the addition of that front electric motor, you have the twin rear electric motors, which, fun fact, the rear electric motor controller on this vehicle is the same one that is found in the Acura NSX. So this thing's got a little bit of NSX DNA inside it. It's awesome. Each rear electric motor is capable of 36 horsepower and 54 pound-feet of torque each. But the cool thing about that is the peak torque comes in at 0 RPM. So it's a nice kick in the pants when you floor this thing. I wouldn't say this is a fast vehicle, but the way the power is delivered, it's a nice low shove when you get on it. Now on top of those electric motors, you also have the 3-liter port-injected V6, which sounds incredible. There's like this sound of induction coming into the cabin when you floor it. And I mean, die-hard Honda fans out there will know just how good a naturally aspirated Honda engine sounds. And you can hear it in this. On my channel, we call this giving it the beans. Oh God, that sounds so good. And that's the speed limit. But just a little bit of fun at least. The second good thing about this MDX is the transmission. It is a 7-speed dual clutch gearbox, which shifts incredibly. You do have paddle shifts here on the steering wheel to control it. Now, it's not a sports car by any means, but as far as SUVs go, it's kind of fun to drive, seriously. The third good thing about this MDX is how well it handles for how big it is. This thing is almost 4,500 pounds, but when you adjust the dynamic mode down here in the center and you put the transmission in sport, this thing is actually fun to take through the corners. And despite it being 4,500 pounds, it actually handles fairly well. It's surprising. I didn't expect that of this type of a vehicle. I mean, it's kind of a big soccer mom-mobile, honestly, but it's fun to drive. Now, as far as the bad goes, I found the parking brake in this thing really cumbersome to use, and I don't know, sometimes I find myself pushing it and pulling it and it's still not engaging, and I just don't know what I'm doing maybe, but it's just a very odd to use parking brake. I prefer the traditional rip-it style e-brake. The other bad is the exhaust tips, and I know that's kind of like opinion based, but I just don't like fake exhaust tips on anything. It doesn't look bad, but it's just cheesy. The last bad thing about the MDX is also one of my favorite things about it, and it's the tech features in here. I just think it's just so much to learn that it can kind of be intimidating, which could be a little bit of a turnoff because you just feel like there's just so much going on. As far as the weird goes, the first thing I found was weird is that there is a battery meter in the gauge cluster. It's an analog battery meter, and it looks weird because when I first saw it, I thought it was the voltage gauge for like the traditional 12-volt battery in the car. And I was like, oh, weird, it's got a high and a low, so it lets you know if your battery is high or low. But it's actually for the hybrid system that you can also monitor on your power distribution monitor. It shows you when your battery is fully charged or when it's slowly starting to be depleted from driving around in full EV mode. But it also has it here on the gauge cluster, and I thought that was really weird. The second thing that I found weird with the MDX is the rear liftgate does not like to be closed manually. It does have the buttons to close for you electronically, but if you try to close it on your own, it almost sounds like you're forcing it, and it just doesn't sound right. Found that kind of weird. It's like it wants you to use the electronic feature. The last thing I found weird about the MDX is also kind of cool, but it's the power distribution monitor and how quickly this car will go from front wheel drive to rear wheel drive to just your left rear wheel or just your right rear wheel or full EV mode or gasoline mode, and it just shuts off the engine randomly and then goes to EV, and then power goes from just like 3-wheel drive to all-wheel drive to 2-wheel drive, and it happens so fast that you don't even notice it happening. And I don't know, it's just so cool, but it's weird, but it's cool. Maybe it's because it's the first vehicle I've experienced like this. I get amazed easily, I don't know. But yeah. All right, so my final thoughts after driving this Acura MDX Sport Hybrid with Advance. Such a long title. Would I consider buying this, or would I recommend it? Well, if you look at for its price point being over $50,000 for the Sport Hybrid with Advance package, you have some strong competition from Germany, like BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and the reason why I would buy one of these is because it's not one of those three. It's different. It's something you don't see as often, and I like it. I think it's really good looking. But here's my thing. BMW has M, and Mercedes has AMG, and Audi has the S models. Is there any way, Acura, you could stuff the twin turbo V6 from the NSX in this thing and have like an NSX SUV? Is it possible? Is it possible, engineers? Could you do it? What do you guys think? Would you like to see a 400 plus horsepower MDX hybrid? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the MDX Sport Hybrid with Advanced, and I will see you guys next week with another review on TFL. Bye!